Chris, the Golden Globes are on in a few days. Let's talk about the film categories, and perhaps maybe we should start with supporting actor in a motion picture. What do you think about that?
Boy, it's an interesting category. Almost everybody in that category you would expect to be an Oscar nominee. And I think I looked back, and I don't know how far it went back, but at least the last 30 years, whoever has won this category has at least gone on to get nominated at the Oscars. So on some years where it was kind of a surprise person, they still went on and got nominated. So if somebody like Michael Douglas wins here, we need to be rethinking our Oscar predictions. But I think it's going to be Christian Bale. He's been a big movie star for a long time. He's carrying that Batman franchise.
I think you're right. I think Christian Bale he's headed towards the podium at the Kodak, and this is going to be one of his steps to it. I think the Hollywood foreign press are going to try their best to be as predictive as possible. Lately, they haven't been so much. People have started to realise that they're not really the bellwether they used to be. Perhaps maybe that might be reason for them to give it to Christian Bale. But, I've been lucky enough to see The Fighter, and it's probably my number 2 film of the year. I absolutely love it. I've seen it 3 times. I could see it again. It's just such a wonderful movie, and he is really wonderful in it. That being said, though, if I had to pick the best supporting actor out of that list, I'd be going with Geoffrey Rush, because he just stole that movie for me. He really is the heart and soul of The King's Speech, and loved it. And I really hope they go with him. But I think you're right. If we're going to predict, it's probably going to be Christian Bale. So
I'm going to tell you one thing, though. I think Christian Bale's winning the Oscar, but if he starts having speech after speech after speech on TV and in front of voters and comes off looking sour and kind of upset about even being on stage, then those Oscar voters may look in another direction. Because Geoffrey Rush is very charming, and he's out shaking hands and meeting voters, and so Christian Bale needs to give a performance when he's up on stage and act like he really cares about this and be charming. But supporting actress, this is a category I think here and at the Oscars it could go in any direction.
Yeah. This one's a killer. This one really hurts, because you could make an argument for any of those 5 women. And as you very well know, Chris, I have a really tight emotional attachment to this category, because I so desperately want to see my favourite performance of the year, Jackie Weaver, receive her due. And her winning this would really propel her forward in the eyes of voters. But I just don't think she's going to win it. I think really in that category I'm going with Amy Adams. I think anyone who's seen The Fighter will see that Melissa Leo does have the showier role, but Amy Adams is devastatingly good in that. And I really hope that the Globe voters realise that she is really kind of ready to be awarded. She's been nominated a few times, and I think this is going to be the start of the Amy Adams train all the way to the Oscars. What do you think, Chris?
I think Melissa Leo is going to win the actual Oscar, but I think you're right about the Globe. They love the young stars. They love people like Amy Adams, and Amy Adams has been nominated. This may be her 3rd time, maybe her 4th.
Yeah.
I think it's hers to take here at the Globes, but look out for Melissa Leo when it gets to be Oscar time. Now, what do you think about this? Go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to say, also look out for if the voters really love The King's Speech, for instance, you could see Helena Bonham Carter make it up there too. She's quite a big star. She's been around for years and years and years. And I wouldn't be surprised if we saw her up there either, along with Geoffrey Rush. So it just depends on how much the voters really have responded to each of these films. But anyway, that's just an aside. I think you're right. I think it's
Has anybody had a more diverse year than Helena Bonham Carter? From King's Speech to Alice in Wonderland to Harry Potter, who had a more fun year than her?
Absolutely. So you never know.
Now, comedy musical is always a crazy category here at the Globes, and the main category this year, I'll just run them down: Alice in Wonderland Burlesque, The Kids Are All Right, Red, and The Tourist. What do you think?
Are any of those comedies? Are there any comedies in that list? I don't think there are, actually. I think you've got a science fiction fantasy film, you've got a musical, which is fine, okay, that might belong there, but it's more of a dramatic musical I hear. Not that I've seen the film, I should say. Kids Are All Right, not that comedic. Red and The Tourist are action films, so I'm not sure what the hell they're doing here, but anyway, I think The Kids Are All Right is probably going to win that one. What do you think?
It's the only one really with Best Picture nomination potential for the Oscars, so I think it's a pretty easy pick here, considering the category. There were a lot of at least decent comedies this year, true flat-out comedies. It seemed like they could have found a couple of those to put here in this category. Now, comedy actor, that's another interesting one. What do you think about that one?
Well, I have to say, I'm going to say that Paul Giamatti is going to win that, and I'm probably going to be one of only a few people. I'm not sure what you think. I know you absolutely adore that performance, Chris, but I only saw Barney's version yesterday on one of the screeners that the studio was so kind to send to us, and I just thought that film was so brilliant and underrated, and he is brilliant in that, and I think he's going to win it. I don't think that's a tough category to win. Any of those guys could win, and Johnny Depp's got 2 nominations, so there might be some split there.
I think Paul Giamatti might be my favorite performance I've seen all year. I haven't seen everything yet, and really has no shot at all at an Oscar nomination. If he had a chance, he was going to get up at SAG Awards maybe. Although, if he could get up on stage at the Globes and give a funny speech, maybe, who knows? But I don't know. I don't think he wins this one. When he's been up before, even for like Sideways, where everybody thought he was going to win, he didn't win, here at the Globes. I think it might be between Jake Gyllenhaal, again, a young actor, somebody that they would like to have, being photographed backstage and be the face of the Globes for the night. The other thing that jumps out at me is how much they love Johnny Depp. They nominate Johnny Depp every year for something, and this year twice. He might win for Alice in Wonderland. The only time he's ever won a Globe was the year that they had the writer's strike. So he wasn't able to go on stage and actually accept for Sweeney Todd. So if he's planning on attending, which we don't know that he is, I could see him winning for Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah, I guess that, although I think that the film is absolutely atrocious, there is some merit in awarding that particular performance. Anything apart from The Tourist, I think, would be probably palatable. As long as they don't mention The Tourist at all, I think they might get through this year unscathed.
Well, and keep in mind, regarding Johnny Depp as well, that I can't even begin to tell you how many times he's been nominated here at the Globes, and he always comes. I think there might have been one year where he didn't come, but I was watching an old Globe ceremony from, I guess, was that 94, 95, when he was up for Ed Wood, and just looked like he was a teenager. So I think this is the key now. If he's planning on attending, they'll reward him. If he's not, then they'll move on to Jake Gyllenhaal.
Well, I've got my fingers crossed for Paul Giamatti, because I think, as you also agree, what a performance. And, it's possible. They might throw him a bone, you never know. But as for the actresses, I think that's really a done deal. I just can't imagine them not giving that to Annette Bening. What do you think?
Yeah, she's won a couple of Globes before, and I think this is an easy pick. That's the one great thing about the Globes is, when you get to the Oscars and everybody says it's between Annette Bening and Natalie Portman, and one of them's going to win the Oscar probably. Here, they can both win. One can win for drama, and one can win for comedy, and then they can fight it out at the Oscars. But I think you're right. It's got to be Annette Bening. The only other possibility. Nah, they're not going to give it to Anne Hathaway. That movie tanked really bad.
I don't think so. I think that's a done deal. Look, before we move on to the drama categories, can we just rattle off a few of the other smaller categories, and we'll just throw out some names that we think might win. So if I just say to you, Best Director, what's your initial reaction? Who's going to take that?
It's probably going to be David Fincher, but Christopher Nolan would not surprise me at all.
Yeah. Definitely. I think Christopher Nolan's going to win that. I just think they're just going to go in a different direction. Now, screenplay, I think that's going to be Aaron Sorkin. I can't imagine not giving it to him. I think he's going to win everything.
I agree. No, they did not love The West Wing like the Emmys did, so keep that in mind. It's not like they,
True.
But this is a whole other world in the film world, and I think it's his.
Original score, that's a really strong category. All of those scores are very, very worthy. And I think that the winner there will be Hans Zimmer for Inception.
King's Speech, I'm thinking maybe there.
Yeah, that's a possibility. As for the songs, I'd like to see, I think the best song in contention, even in contention for the Oscars for all the songs that are eligible there, is Bound to You from Burlesque. That's a really strong song, and I have a feeling that that's going to take that particular category as well.
I don't really know, and I don't really care in this category. I will say, whoever wins this category, beware, because it is very rare to win the song category at the Globes, and not only not win at the Oscars, but often not even get nominated for the Oscars. Think about Mick Jagger a couple of years ago, and
that's right,
and some of the others. So beware what you wish for if you're up for the Globe song category.
Why do they even have that category here and the score category? I just can't. They don't have any other technical categories. I don't think it's particularly necessary.
I understand. Remember, this is a big party, and they get to invite a lot of stars. And this year's you got Christina Aguilera, you got Carrie Underwood. In years past, you've had Mick Jagger, Paul McCartney, Elton John. It gives them a chance to bring in some music stars.
Right. Okay, how about animated features? Are we even going to be bothered talking about that, or is that Toy Story 3?
Gotta be here and at the Oscars, I would think.